Okay, so today I'm going to be showing how I would set up a design using the Brother Canvas Workspace for desktop, and I'm going to be demonstrating the foiling kit. Now, if you were in class, we went ahead and completed this project, and I did a demonstration on how it was created in class, but this is to be a reminder for those of you who were in class so that when you get home, if you want to practice some of those techniques, then this will help you remember how those designs were created. So in class, we did a 5x7 foiling project, and it was on black cardstock. So the first thing that I do to create a certain size is that I go in and actually create a box that represents the overall size of the project I'm creating. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go over to my shapes menu and choose a square. So when I click the square, it's going to automatically come up with a square on my screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the side where my other options, I guess you could say, or layers are, and I'm going to go to the Edit tab. In that Edit tab, I can see the current size of the square that's on my screen. I want to make this square a 5" by 7" square because I know that this finished product is going to go in a 5x7 picture frame. And so I want to go ahead and turn off the maintain aspect ratio, and I want to make this a 7" width by a 5" height. And so now you can see that the box on my screen, and I'm just going to drag it over to the middle, is now 5x7. All right, so now the next thing I want to do is I want to make this look like my finished project is going to look. So I'm actually going to make the box on my screen black because that is the color of cardstock that we used for the project. So I'm actually going to come on over here to where the little paintbrush is, click on that, and then I'm going to go to the fill color and I'm going to change it to black. So now we have got a 5x7 black square on our screen. So one of the first things that I did is to create this project is the word autumn is the largest word on the project, and it is going to be cut out of just regular adhesive vinyl. So I don't have to really put any different spin on this other than I just want to go ahead and get the whole thing set up the way I know I want it to look. So I'm going to now type in that word. So I'm going to come over to the large letter T on the left-hand side of the screen, and I'm just going to click anywhere on screen, and I'm going to type in all caps the word autumn. Okay, so the word autumn. Now, this can be whatever font you want to use. It can, you get to make all those choices. Once you've typed in your word, then you just click anywhere off of the word, and then I'm going to come right back over here to those colors, and I'm going to put the color that I'm actually going to cut out of vinyl on there so that I can see it on screen, and then I'm going to drag it up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and size it up by clicking and dragging a corner. Okay, there's no particular size here that it has to be. I'm just going for the look that I like. Now, if you don't like the font that automatically appears, then you can go up to your font list here at the top and click on that down arrow, and the fonts that appear will be not only the ones in the Canvas Workspace, but also any TrueType font that is installed on your computer. You don't get this option unless you're in the desktop version of the software. Because the TrueType fonts are copyrighted, so they only work when it's a Windows-based program, and that Canvas Workspace that's in the cloud or on the internet is not a Windows-based program, just this desktop version. So anyway, that kind of got us off track a little bit, but you choose the font you want to use. Once you have found that font and kind of sized it and just played around with it until it looks kind of the way you want it, now we're going to type in another word. We're going to type in the word welcome. So we're just going to go right back over to that text tool and click anywhere on the screen, and I'm going to do lowercase this time, the word welcome, and I am going to change that font to more of a script type font. So same way, I just go right back up to that list of fonts, and I'm going to go find the one that I want to use. Now everybody's fonts are going to be different. You know, if you are a person who has never added any fonts to your computer, then you may have, you know, 200 or 300 fonts, sometimes less. If you're like me, then you may have, you know, 1,000 fonts. So depending on how many fonts you have on your computer, it may take you longer to choose one. Now, once you have typed in and chose the font for that second word, welcome, then you are going to notice, and we're going to zoom in just so I can show you this closer. I'm going to just zoom in to that word, that when it is a script and the letters overlap, that we can't just leave the letters like that, or it will actually cut or draw or glue those lines. Every line you see, even these little overlaps, will show up. So what we need to do is we need to weld those letters together so that they're all one piece. So to do that, just as long as the letter or the word is selected, then you will come over to your right-hand side of your screen, and we're going to choose our editing. So when we edit, we can come all the way down to the bottom here where it says Process Overlap and go to where it says Shapes, and the very first one is called Weld. If we click Weld, notice all of those little overlaps have disappeared. So that is exactly what we want to happen. We want those little overlaps to disappear. And then once we have got that the way that we want it, then we're going to go ahead and just zoom back out. And we're actually going to grab our arrow or our select tool, and we're going to bring that word up here. Now you're going to notice we can't see that word. We can see the box, but we can't really see the word. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a color, just like we did with the word autumn. So we're going to go to the paintbrush, and we're going to fill that with gold, because that is the end product is going to appear gold, okay? And we can size it up or down. We can, you know, make it look however we want it to look. Now, once we have got that word on there, we're just going to keep adding all of the elements that we want to appear on our finished product. Now, the other thing that we had in our finished product was we have actually got another set of words down at the bottom. So those words that were down at the bottom, we're going to need to type those in too. So that was, I think, sweaters. Helps if I get it on there. Sweaters, bonfires, and s'mores. And it could have been different than this, but that's just an idea of what you could put at the bottom. So once we have got it selected, then we're going to choose the font we want for that. Same thing. We're just getting everything in place, and I'm just going to choose a more simple type font for this particular piece. I'm going to go ahead and fill it with gold because it's going to end up being gold on our finished product as well. And I'm going to drag it up here, but then I know I need to size it down because it is longer than my 5x7 piece of cardstock that I'm working with. So I'm just making it all fit, making it all look good, making it look the way that I want it to look. The other thing that I put in on our finished product was I added a little piece of wheat, clip art. You could do wheat, you could do a maple leaf. You don't have to put anything. You could just do whatever you think looks good. So you'll continue to design until you're happy with all of the elements that you have. Now, right before you send a design or save a design to actually go to your scan and cut, and you're going to be foiling part of it, you need to remember to select the items that are going to be foil and come over to your properties and actually click on draw, okay? Because we're not going to cut those elements. We are going to draw them with glue. So that's basically, you know, to help you remember that, you're going to just think of it as drawing in glue instead of a marker. So I'm going to choose these two elements, the welcome and then the sweaters, bonfires, and s'mores, and I'm going to change both of those to drawn elements. That way, when we get to our scan and cut will be able to see the difference in the welcome and the sweaters, bonfires, and s'mores. It will know that we're not cutting them. We are drawing them with something. Okay, so then what I do once I've got all of my elements and I've got it sized and looking the way I want it to look, then I will actually go in and I will delete that black box that represents my background. Okay, now if you forget to do that, you can always delete it on your Scan and Cut, but it's easier if you just go ahead and do it now. So I just select it and hit the delete key on my keyboard. Okay, so all of my items that I know are going to be actually cut or drawn or foiled or any of those things are what's left on my screen. And then I will go up to File and I will say Export. And so from this point, if you're hooked up wirelessly to your Scan and Cut, you will do transfer FCM via the internet. Or if you are wanting to export then to a USB, you can do to a file. So whichever method you are used to using for exporting, and it does not matter quality-wise which way you do it, this is where you're going to transport that file. And once you've done that, then you're going to go straight to your Scan and Cut and start foiling and cutting.